When Clarissa was a baby, we kind of knew what kind of personality she had by one time when we were eating at the table, and she was in her high chair, and she was very young. She really hadn't started talking yet. She was probably, she was probably between 1 and 2-ish. She was sitting in there, and Paul started lecturing her, because Paul is famous for lecturing. He started lecturing Clarissa about something. Do you even remember what it was?
No.
And she took it for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden she just went, eh! Like, I had enough, Dad. And we just all, everybody got real quiet, and then we all just started cracking up, because that kind of let us know what kind of little girl we had.
Ryan was 2.5 and Bobby was almost 4. And when we moved in, there's just this great big backyard. There were no boundaries where the yards were, and I worried about that because I thought it would be hard to teach them where their yard ended and another yard began. And there was a swing set in the neighbor's backyard, so we kept going over the fact that you can't get on their swing set. We don't know them yet, we haven't met them, we don't have their permission. So we had been there about a week, and I was trying to put stuff away, and it's one of those, I thought they were with Dad, Dad thought they were with me kind of thing, and the neighbor rings the doorbell, and I'm like, oh, great, I get to meet her. She's like, yeah, your boys are on my swing set. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I've been trying to teach them about the boundaries of the yard, and this is all new to them. She's like, no, you don't understand. They're naked. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I got to meet my neighbors that day, and that was a rather embarrassing story, but I called my naked boys in and got them dressed so that they could all meet properly.
It all began for me when Ryan and I went with some friends to the zoo, and at the time it was just a casual thing. I thought maybe he was still dating someone else, and never had hung out with him in a social situation before, so I got to know him a little more, and we were having a lot of fun, and I was being uncharacteristically outgoing. I'm very guy shy and things, and I was just having a blast and joking around with him because I thought he was taken, so it really wasn't nothing romantic, and he had a girlfriend, and no big deal.
It was just really fun because we, were from the very beginning we're joking with each other, and it was really cool, and that was a neat time because it really stuck out in my mind. I said, this girl is really cool. She likes to have fun. She likes to joke, and that really stood out for me.
And then halfway through the night, I found out that they had broken up. And then I was like, oh, is he available? I'm like, I didn't know that. And then I became really shy, and I didn't talk to him the rest of the night. And there was a very noticeable gap between Clarissa before and Clarissa after finding out, he was single. And I just kind of was really shy and withdrawn, and I wouldn't talk to him. And but after that night, I definitely felt a crush brewing.
It wasn't actually until about February when we had vice versa, which they called sometimes winter formal, but it's the same thing, where usually the girls ask the guys. And I wasn't going to go, but then a group of our friends came up and talking to me while I was working at the security desk, and they had asked me if I was going to go, and I wasn't really sure, but then I realized that Clarissa was going to go, so I said, yeah, I probably could make that work. So we went, and had a great time that night, and we're with all our friends, and really it wasn't until at the after party at one of our friends' houses when I really noticed that she was very attractive, and I was, hooked ever since, if you could say it that way. But yeah, she definitely caught my eye that night. That was a big night where it really just said, she's hot. It's interesting because before I even officially, from my memory, before I asked her out on the date, I called to ask her dad's permission to take her out on a date. So, I was pretty nervous, and it's funny because I like to make jokes when I'm nervous. And so when I called, I was really nervous, and she actually answered the phone because I recognized her voice. And so, I asked, is Mr. Combs available? And so she said, yeah, hold on. And, he came on the phone and
he goes, Mr. Combs, I'd like permission to date your daughter. So we were talking small talk, and I go, well, are you a good Christian boy?
being nervous, I decided to, make the joke, and I said, well, depends on who you ask. So, looking back, it's so funny, but like on the time after I said that, I was immediately like, oh my gosh, why did I say that?
I go, fair enough. We liked him right away.
When he asked me on my first date with him, I was really apprehensive to have him come pick me up because it felt too official date and such, and I was just really afraid and inexperienced.
She tried to talk me out of going to pick her up from her house.
I was like, no, you know what, we're gonna go to House of Japan. I live really far away from how, it would be so out of your way to go, and he's just like, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, really, you live over here, I live over there, it's out of the way. He's like, I've got gas to spare. and that's just kind of how Ryan was, despite anything I would try to kind of maybe weasel out of something, just because I was a little nervous, he was just right there being like, no, I can do it, really, it'd be great. So it made me feel really special and pursued, and he really was insistent to pick me up, so I said yes. And but that did not stop me from rushing home that night, because it was meant to be sort of a group thing. We were going to go to House of Japan, and he was really sweet about making sure that I would be comfortable in a group setting.
We were supposed to have a group of friends to make it less formal, less intimidating, but it ended up falling through. And so actually Kristen and Katie, Clarissa had called them.
So I ran home and I'm like, Kristen, you have got to come with me to House of Japan, and I can't be alone with Ryan. And she's like, I don't want to be a third wheel, and and so she's like, she calls up Katie, and so Katie and Kristen, out of just nowhere, they're like, yeah, I like House of Japan, I'll go. And so they meet us there, and really, I didn't need them. Once they were there, I didn't need them there, because I talked with Ryan really well, and I had a lot of fun. I was really at ease.
She was totally enraptured by me. Just couldn't stop her. Once she had me, that was it. So, but yeah, that was a really great night, and really, really fun.
The parking story. This is the truth about the parking thing.
Clarissa had a certain place that she parked. She came home from school one day and she was very distraught because Ryan had the nerve to park next to her.
I didn't feel comfortable declaring ourselves to the whole school as such a serious couple, because all the really serious, famous couples of our school parked next to each other. That's just how it was.
She felt this was moving too forward in their relationship too fast. And it really irritated her that he had the nerve to park next to her. She felt that was just pushing things too far.
And so I go home and Mom's like, what's the matter? And I'm like, Mom, Ryan parked next to me. This is a big deal. I don't know if I'm ready.
She's telling me this. I'm trying hard not to laugh at her as a mom and to listen to her and hear it out and to, validate her concerns over this frivolous matter.
She's like, Clarissa, it's not a big deal. You don't need to think about that. And I'm like, you don't know anything. I'm like, Dad, my father, he parked next to me. Doesn't that upset you? Don't you think that's a little soon to declare that? And he's just like, no, it's really not a big deal. I don't care. So then I was like, Josiah, do you think? And Joe's like, yeah, no, that's outrageous. You should tell him. I'm like, I should tell him. I should, and stuff like that. So I told him I didn't want to park next to each other because I felt like it was too soon to do, and he was really sweet about it, but I know it was annoying and stupid that I thought that. And so to this day, if I go up and pull up and park next to him, he'll just be like, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this. You can't park next to me now. And yeah, I'll never live that down, ever, not with my family or anyone. But I still stand by that I was just in a new relationship and I am trying to figure things out, and I wasn't ready. We had been dating for a month and a half, maybe just a month or so, and I decided that I was ready for our first kiss, and my first kiss ever. And Ryan was definitely taking things really slow.
You know, I was her first boyfriend, so I wanted to take it really slow. I didn't want to rush into it because, you know, I really wanted to get to know her, and you know, I thought things were going pretty well.
And you know, so to sort of indicate that I was comfortable with it, I did the most mature thing possible, you know, in the relationship. I had my best friend go and ask him why he hadn't kissed me yet.
Kristen started, you know, talking to me one day just randomly in class. It was actually study hall. She talked to me. She was saying, you know, so when are you and were you gonna try to kiss Clarissa? And it's like, you know, I don't know, when the time's right, you know, we don't want to rush into it. And so she was like dropping total hints that, you know, for Easter, it'd be great if you just gave her a kiss. She would probably really like that a lot. So I was like, you know, I'll consider it.
And after Kristen talked to him, he was like, wait, what? Did she say something? Does she want me to kiss her? And I'm like, you know, she's like, I don't know. No, I don't know. I was just wondering why you haven't done it yet and stuff like that. So that prompted him to come to me next time we were hanging out. And we had the, are we introducing kissing into our relationship conversation? And and it was awkward and funny. So we conclude the conversation with, okay, so anytime. Yeah, we're good with that. And yeah, all right.
So, you know, it was funny because it was either, I don't know if it was Easter night or, you know, day before, but it was sometime that weekend when, you know, we had our first kiss.
So I was really shy that night, and I was not making much eye contact, and we would be driving, and literally he'd be driving and I would just be like looking out the window like that, and I was like, oh, the moon's beautiful, it's great and stuff like that, and he's just like, you know, wondering why I'm being so weird.
Even leading up to it was funny because I didn't really know how to just say, like, you know, I want to try kissing you. And I was like, so I'm thinking about trying to kiss you at some point. And she's like, is that like a question to ask me to kiss, or are you just saying that? And I'm like, I don't know.
So we just kind of laughed about it and then just let it go for a while. And then, you know, a little later in time together, he says, now I'm asking you if I can kiss you. So he leans in and we had like a quick, like, quick way, you know, I pulled away and giggled like an idiot. Like, I was just so like nervous, and it's cute and stuff. So we decided to like try a second time, and
she attacks me and starts making out with
I did not attack him. I did not attack him. We just kissed a little longer and more normal, but nothing out of the ordinary. Just a normal, nice kiss after that. And I wasn't gonna stop till he stopped. That's all I'm saying, and that's just what happened.
The very first time Ryan brought her to our house, and he was all excited. He's like, you know, Riley, you're gonna love her. She's so much like me, and she's great. And then he brings her inside, and he says, everyone, this is Clarissa. And then he looks at me and says, and she hates cats. And I have 6 cats, so apparently I gave her a really mean look, and she didn't come over again for a while. So, but no, it's okay, because we're good friends now, I think. Right, Clarissa?
The things that does not strike me when I think about Clarissa or Ryan is, you know, things like aggression or competitiveness or saying hurtful things to each other. But when we'd been dating for a little while, and I hadn't really spent a lot of time in them in any kind of competitive environment, and we were playing this movie game, Seen It or something, down in your parents' basement, and it was like trivia of some sort, I don't know, movie trivia, and I think they thought that I was an idiot because I kept getting things right, and at first they played it off like, oh, it's just Nathan's new girlfriend, let's be
beginner's luck.
let's be friendly and kind. But then we really started kind of kicking their butts in the game, and they got really upset. They were not happy that they were being beat at their own game.
Yeah. Clarissa's like, get your head out of your butt, Ryan. That was so easy. What's your problem?
And it was funny because it's like this huge screen and you've got your controllers and we're all getting very animated, and I think we had plans to go do something after that, but they just kind of fell apart. Everybody was in a really bad mood, except for me because I won. I had a great time.
The brother, the best man, has to go first.
I'm trying to think. There were plenty of times where when Ryan and Clarissa hang out, I'd come downstairs and they'd be talking, but they'd be over on the other side of his room and it would be quiet, and I'd come downstairs and I'd realize it's too quiet down here. I don't like it. I'd go back upstairs.
That is awkward, Bobby.
I knew they were talking. Because when I went over by my bed, I could hear them talking. I could hear them on the other side of the room. But still, it was funny. Don't put that in there.
One of the greatest stories I have about Clarissa is actually including Nathan. When he was about 17, I was about 12. We decided to try to find some dirt on her. Because Clarissa, as most of you know, is a perfect little child. She had great grades, she was a good little spiritual daughter, she was super obedient. And of course, Nathan and I just thought that couldn't be true. So we decided to try to find some dirt on her. And to do this, we went into her room and we just started looking around. And we thankfully found a couple notes from her friends and some notes to her friends from her. So we're like, all right, jackpot, we got her now. There's no way she's this good little princess all the time. So we open up the first note and we start reading it. And it's actually, hey, I was just thinking you needed a little bit of encouragement, so I found this Bible verse. I hope it really encourages you, and I hope you have a lot better day. You just really need to pray about your problems, and I hope you really get through this. I'll be praying for you. We're like, what? What, are you kidding me? So we decided that she was actually the perfect saint that she always puts on to be. And so in defeat, we put the note back and we left.
I remember the first time I saw your sister's room and I was stunned. She's such an organized person and she seems like she has everything very, all of her ducks in a line, but her room is a disaster.
Miss Perfect is a slob. How about that? How you like that, America? So.
And another one was when we were both in the living room and we were playing GameCube, and this is a few years ago, but we were playing Mario Kart on the GameCube, and we were playing someplace called Rainbow Road, and there's no railing on it, and if you fall off the side of it, you plummet down to earth. And so I was about to win. He was right behind me, and he got a star power and he hits me off the road, and he wins by 1/100th of a second, which really irritated me because he won by 1/100th of a second. And yeah, that was funny yet irritating. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
We had talked about getting married, of course, throughout our relationship, but I knew we were approaching our senior year, so I wanted to, really start thinking about that for real.
And for my birthday present, I had told Ryan I wanted an engagement ring. He's like, what do you want for your birthday? I was like, this. Yeah. And I was kind of kidding. I didn't think he actually would, because we knew we wanted to get married when we finished college, but we were going to wait till I was back from London.
And so that was really cool because, it was at that moment I was like, I could probably work that out. And, that would be a really great surprise, because initially I thought I'd have to wait until maybe December when she got back from London. But, God worked it out so that way, I could get it together while she was gone. And, I planned it out and I thought really hard because I wanted it to be something unique. I didn't want it to be just something that, you got from a movie, or I didn't want it to be cliche. I wanted it to be genuine from the heart, something that I thought about and, considered. And, I actually, felt prompted by God to just, talk to him about it, write about it. And, came up with a plan. I wanted to spend a day doing things that were really fun to her. I wanted to do some really, do some things that were just really, important to her, like
Breakfast at my favorite place, like First Watch, and we were gonna go see a movie. I love seeing movies, and we we're gonna go eat pizza at my favorite pizza place. I've been eating at Panzero's since my mom was pregnant with me, so my whole life it's a place I love, and we were gonna just go to the park and enjoy that. So it was a really, really great day. We were having a blast, and all day long he carried around this big giant present.
You know, like I said, I planned it all out. The day comes, and you know, got up. We had a full day together. It was just one of the best days, and it was cool because, you know, at the end when, you know, the afternoon came and we were thinking about getting some pizza.
We went and got pizza at Panzero's, and we drove to a nearby park, and we sat there and we were eating in the car. And it was really nice because we had the music on and we were like, you know, the windows down and enjoying the pizza. And two major things were different about this. One, he didn't eat that much pizza, which is weird. And two, he started to get really heavy on me while we were eating the pizza. Like, he would just be like, I know this pizza holds a lot of special memories for you, and you know, this pizza place in your life, it's connected to so many important moments, and you know, and I'm just like, yeah, that's great. Are you gonna eat that piece? You know, we're just you know, having pizza here, Ryan. Wow.
And so it was interesting because I wanted to try to eat the pizza outside the car, because my idea was we would be eating at a park bench, and then I could, you know, bring the present along so that way after we were done she could open it, and then, you know, I could, you know, work the proposal in so that way it wouldn't be so obvious that, you know, if I needed to get down on my knee or something, you know, she wouldn't notice it as well. But, you know, it's one of those things where you plan on something and it doesn't always work out because she refused to get out of the car.
He's like, you know, how about we go out into the grass over there in the park and we can open your present. And I had just ate a bunch of pizza, and there was a bunch of people in the park, and I was feeling like full and bloated from eating all the pizza, and I was like, no, I don't want to get out of the car. Like, you know, let's just stay in here. We can listen to music. I'll just open it in the car. And he's like, no, I really think we should get out of the car. And I was just like, no, I don't want to get out of the car. And so, yep, we didn't get out of the car because if I don't want to get out of the car, I won't. And so he had to make do. He had to improvise. So I sat in the back seat and I worked on opening the box. And then I started to realize it was a box that led to a box that led to a box. And he decided to, he waited and waited, and then I opened a box that contained a card. Instead of the ring, it was a card. And so I read the birthday card, and in the card there was a letter. He had a lot of things to say to me. And so I was reading the letter, and the letter was just unbelievably beautiful, just saying all these amazing things. I instantly, you know, was able to put it together, and I could see where this was going. And so he got out of the car. He was gonna go throw away his soda, and he got out of the car. He came around to my side of the door, and he got down on one knee. And the first thing I said to him, I was like, I know what you're gonna do. And then I was like, I'm sorry I didn't get out of the car. And he just kind of smirks at me. I'm like, you know, it's okay. And then he says sweet things to me that I can't even really remember. It was just an emotional moment, but I didn't cry, as he will always hold over my head. And it was just an emotional moment. And so he proposed with the ring, and I got to see it, and it was beautiful. It was my mom's diamond put in my own setting, and yeah, it was really special. So I mean, I was definitely shocked. I don't know, it was overwhelming. So I got really quiet. He thought I was going like, oh my God, what have I done? And I wasn't. I was just I don't know, I was surprised. You know, we were gonna wait a little longer, and just to see how he had planned this while I was gone and things like that. It was just really overwhelming. And so sometimes when I'm the most overwhelmed by emotion, that's when I get the quietest. It's just been a wild and amazing year. You know, graduating college, you know, this summer has just been up and down. You're just looking for jobs, finding an apartment, really all the things we've been planning for since we were, you know, seniors in high school, kind of wondering where we were gonna end up, and actually see it all really come together has just been a really incredible time, and all that has been so much throughout our engagement.
We've always been on the same page about, you know, just having fun and and really taking things in stride. So, you know, and now we're like a couple weeks away from the wedding or so, and you know, it's coming up here pretty soon, and you know, everything's coming together, and you know, it's just God timed, and we're really thankful. So.